You're listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte, brought to you by the Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team, DP Lambert at Goose Insurance, and Stryker Roofing. And now your host, real estate broker, team leader, best-selling author, coach, consultant, and speaker, Todd Tramonte.
Welcome, folks. Welcome to Texas Real Estate. We are excited to be with you today. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. We've been getting messages lately from folks that have been with us for a long time. We're going to talk about the opportunity in the market right now for investors as well as buyers and sellers. There is more opportunity in this market right now than we have seen in over a decade. So if you're looking where you might be able to get a good deal, as well as where you can avoid getting absolutely steamrolled, crushed in a market like this. We'll be talking about that today, so stay tuned all the way through. We've got some incredible stories to tell you in the second part of the show about how folks are out there getting, believe it or not, below market deals as a buyer, buying homes below market value, which makes no sense in this market, but with the right strategy, you can get there. We're also going to talk about how sellers are breaking all-time historical high record sales prices when selling their homes, but not every seller. As a matter of fact, we're seeing most sellers are getting homes sold, but they're selling at or right around, maybe just below or a tiny bit above market average. There are some sellers out there selling 8 and 10% above market average and setting the new record trend for values. We'll talk about how to do that, how some folks are taking advantage of that, and how others are leaving a lot of money on the table. We'll talk about that as we make our way through the show today. As is always the case, if you've got questions, you can get those to us on the main website, treradio.com. That's short for Texas Real Estate, treradio.com. And you can find me on social media, just at Todd Tramonte. Facebook's probably the easiest place, at Todd Tramonte. There's also a Todd Tramonte Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte radio show page, and then Todd Tramonte Realtors on most other social media. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel lately, there's a tremendous amount of good content there, not only excerpts from each radio show, but also hundreds and hundreds of question and answer videos about different parts of the market, home buyer tips, home seller tips, how to save money, how to make money, how to invest, etc., etc. So check that out at tthst.tv. That one's short for Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team, tthst.tv. We got all kinds of tips and value for you today. We are joined by producer extraordinary, the one and only, the young MG, the Mason Goss, and he does have a microphone today, folks. Hit it.
We're going triple mics today.
Wow.
I think you're looking for this one.
Yep. Yeah. There it is. I hit the wrong one. I hit the scary, creepy one.
So close. Well, it is pretty scary as well, though.
Maybe it was on purpose.
Yeah.
All right, we also have the one and only Yanni Donnie, the English wonder, back from his travels afar, about to go on more. But he's here, folks. He's here and he's English. But the question, as always, is how English will Ian be today?
I'm sat here with my Middlesbrough mug after a big win in the English Championship this week. And means that Middlesbrough might be safe from relegation. If you need more information on that, you can reach out to us.
If you need translation on that, reach out to us at treradio.com. And Ian can give you the full rundown on English soccer and Middlesbrough, his favorite team, and which has quickly become our real estate company, our real estate team's favorite English soccer team. And we root against relegation and for promotion? What's
yes,
it
promotion.
Yeah. Look,
short story. I'm in a private Middlesbrough Facebook group. It's Middlesbrough North America fans. And during the pandemic, we've been doing little get-together watch parties with a beer while we watch the game. And every single one we've done, we've had a ex-Middlesbrough player join on the call with us, including Robbie Mustoe, who's the NBC main person over here. He joined one of them recently.
Would you look at that? And that's your update, folks, on Middlesbrough soccer.
Only 2 games to go. More to come next time.
Right. From what I understand about the point system, at this point, they've got a very good chance of not getting relegated. It's good to have a league where you can literally get kicked out or bumped up. It's kind of exciting.
Yes. It's like, whose line is it anyway? The rules don't matter, and the points don't matter, and the rules are made up.
That's right. It's also not a great sport, but that's a debate for another time. Ian's literally melting right now. Hey, we're going to get to your real estate questions in about 15 seconds. Before that, I say this all the time, every year, you should get your home value checked at least twice. Once in the wintertime, once in the summertime. In the middle of a global pandemic, in the middle of a stock market volatility, in the middle of political insanity, I say insanity, you probably ought to check your property value once every month. You can do that in less than 1 minute at valuethishouse.com. About 45 seconds. You can know what your home would sell for or rent for in the current market. Head over to valuethishouse.com. Valuethishouse.com. Totally free. Find out what your home would sell for or rent for in less than 1 minute.
This is the time of year when a lot of people will notice the doors are not quite closing properly. Maybe a crack or two is appearing, which always means puts the fear into people of foundation issues.
Earthquake season.
Earthquake season in North Texas.
Just
which
kidding.
Is not a real thing.
It's not a thing. No, what that usually means is not a lot. It usually means the clay soil, which is underneath almost all of our homes, is expanding and contracting due to moisture, heat, dries out the soil. We don't get a lot of rain. We start to see some more cracking, and it's usually not a major structural integrity issue. It's usually cosmetic, but if it does start to become a structural integrity issue, that can get very costly very quickly. So this is our annual reminder. Well, we usually do this a couple of times a year.
Right.
Once right about now when it starts getting so hot and so dry that you need to keep an eye on it. And then once in the winter when it gets usually pretty darn wet, and so your soil's going the other way. So that's our reminder real quick to, if you're starting to see that, get it checked now. We've got some foundation companies that we're big fans of. James Bond Foundation is one of those. Easy to remember. That is his real name, James Bond. There's some other really good ones out there, Due West and others. You can head over to our radio website, treradio.com, and find all of our recommended pros. But aside from who you use, now's a good time. If you're seeing the cracks over the doors and windows, those are the normal places where we do see those cracks. But if there's enough that you're starting to get worried, make that phone call now. Have somebody come take a look at it now. Now, here's my one warning. If you just call the first person that can send somebody out to your house and it's not a reputable, well-known company, just remember you are inviting a salesperson into your home. And what they sell is foundation repairs. Okay?
Yep.
It's a big difference to have a foundation repair salesperson come to your house and to have a neutral third-party structural engineer come to your house. There's a really big difference. And we can help you understand that difference later. If you need more information on that, call us or text us at our office at the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team, 214-310-0008. You can call or text 214-310-0008. And by the way, you don't have to be buying or selling or investing in real estate. Of course, we'd love for you to call us then, but if you just need help, if you just need advice, if you need a tip, if you need a name or a phone number for somebody, you can always go to overunderagent.com or call or text 214-310-0008.
Quick follow-up question on the foundation. I think a lot of people have heard of kind of drip irrigation systems.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is that something which is really, really valuable? Can that really help with foundation? If so, great. If not, what are some other things that folks can do if they don't have that in place or maybe can't afford to put that in place?
Yeah. So good news, bad news. Usually you can run up to Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace Hardware, your local hardware store, and get relatively affordable, under $100 hoses that you can run around the perimeter of your house off of one little hose bib or faucet with a little digital timer on there and run those once or twice a day at the absolute hottest parts of the year. If you can maintain a moisture level in your soil, you can maintain the level of your foundation, almost certainly. So you can keep your soil either always damp, meaning always a little bit wet, so that your soil maintains that same level. It doesn't expand and contract much. It stays the same. Now, that is a little bit easier to do, actually, than to keep it consistently dry, because keeping it dry is almost impossible when we get heavy rains, right? So some people go the strategy of the drip hoses. Now, by the way, sprinkler companies can install underground automatic drip as well. So you don't have to run it off your hose. But the most affordable way, simplest way, is to just run above ground hoses that are kind of behind the flower beds or just on top of the soil and run off your hose. But that's one way. Keep it consistently damp. The other way is with gutters and drains and sloping soil to keep the water away from the soil that's beneath your foundation. And by the way, all this is true whether it's slab foundation, pier and beam, or a combination of any kind. Consistency is the goal. Consistently wet or consistently dry so that your soil is not moving a lot. Now, again, just to repeat, cracks in the sheetrock and cracks in the mortar and the joints of your brick don't mean your house is falling apart. They just mean it's moving a little bit. A professional can tell you if that's a problem that needs to be fixed or if it's just cosmetic, which is really optional.
It's good. Quick tease. I'm going to tease this early, Todd, but at the beginning of the second part of the show, we're going to talk about something really, really cool that Barbara Corcoran said on social media this week. Really
By the way, I've
stuff.
said this about her many times, but she's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, she's an unbelievable trash talker for a little bitty lady, but she's hilarious, and she's just been a huge advocate for our team. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the show.
We'll get into that a little bit later on. Right now, though, you need to go to valuethishouse.com. Get your home valuation in less than 1 minute. Valuethishouse.com. Todd's already told you need to be doing this at least. Just do it every month right now. At least a few times a year, but do it every month right now. Valuethishouse.com. Home valuation in less than 1 minute. Okay, if the house, this is a question we had this week. If the house says active option, and by that we mean obviously online, the status of it is active option. One, what does that mean? And two, should we try and look at it, or should we just go ahead and move on?
Okay, so let me unpack this just a little bit. The reason this question is getting asked is because in our current real estate market, there are so few homes on the market for sale that buyers are trying to find additional homes to view. Are there any other homes that I could potentially buy? Are there any other homes that meet my criteria? Are there any other homes without 5 offers on them? One of the agents in our team basically said, man, it feels like we're back to 0506, which if you don't know what that means we're back to the point where people are just kind of blindly buying almost anything they can get their hands on. Now, that's not entirely true, but it feels that way. The energy, the anticipation, the borderline desperation of buyers. Okay, so this question is asked, meaning, okay, in the multiple listing system, you might know that as the realtor's database. This is basically the place that you have to have a real estate license and be a member of the local association to get access to this online collection of homes for sale. There are different statuses: active, active option, pending, active kickout, canceled, withdrawn, terminated, all these different things, right? Active option means this home is still actively on the market and you can show it. You might even be able to submit a backup offer, but it is also currently under contract within their option period, which means they have an unrestricted right to terminate while they get inspections and do measurements and make sure that everything's in order. It's a precarious situation for a buyer. You can go look at that house, but you know that seller is already committed to a buyer. But it's not 100% locked down yet because that buyer still has the option to back out of that transaction if something doesn't meet their needs or if something changes. So by definition, you're going to look at a house that you cannot have at the moment, but there's a reasonably decent chance that you might be able to have it in the next 5 to 10 days or so.
I've heard a lot of our team, I've heard the term backup offer a lot recently, in just the way that either our buyer agents are submitting a backup offer in that situation,
right,
or our marketing specialists, listing agents, are actually receiving backup offers. How does that play into it?
Again, in a market with really low housing inventory, not a lot of homes to choose from, and a high buyer demand, a lot of buyers looking for houses, this becomes a more normal habit. It's not a traditionally normal habit. It happens all the time, but it doesn't happen nearly as much as it's happening right now. So, yes, a buyer might want to consider being a backup offer on a home they really like that happens to already be under contract with someone else, because if it falls out, that might be one of the best ways for you to get into a home you like at a good price. When we represent the seller, we like backup offers. They're not always the best strategy, but sometimes they can be a great strategy to protect our sellers in the event that this buyer does exercise their option to back out we already have another buyer that would automatically be under contract. So, for the sake of radio, I won't unpack that entirely, but those things are driven by the intensity and the competition in our marketplace. Let me just give you a quick tip. If you're a buyer in our market right now and you don't have an agent, you have to call or text. I mean, you don't have to, but it's very important for you to call or text us so we can share some of these strategies with you so you don't get just absolutely obliterated in the market. Call or text us at 214-310-0008. I will assign one of our ideal buyer specialists to help create a custom strategy for you. One size does not fit all in this market. One size doesn't fit all in any market. But in this market, if you go with a traditional one size spring-summer strategy, you are very likely to get absolutely dominated in negotiations. By a seller with or without an agent, you are likely to have to overpay and be pressured into getting less than you want, faster than you want, with fewer options than you want. That is a virtual guarantee. Now, on the flip side, if you're a seller right now and you don't have a great strategy, there's a good chance you can still sell your home. But there's a very bad chance, a very low likelihood that you're going to maximize your net return. You're going to maximize the money in your pocket. You're going to minimize the stress and the time. So if you're a seller in this market and you don't have a great agent or you don't have an agent at all, you need to call or text us, 214-310-0008, so you don't end up leaving $20,000 or $30,000 on the table, which we're seeing a lot of sellers do right now. You can also go to overunderagent.com because we guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. That's why the website has such a weird name, overunderagent.com. Before we jump back into questions, this next segment is brought to you by our good friends over at Cardinal Financial. Patrick Glaros and his team are the best in the business when it comes to residential mortgage, educating you through the process, of course, competitive rates and fees. They also have an incredible team. They agree with our philosophy that God gives each of us unique gifts and abilities. Therefore, a team is the best way for you to have the best expert representation all the way through the process. So Patrick and Melanie and Rick and their whole team over there are world class. They're exactly who I use, my wife and I use. Most of our team, hundreds of our clients, thousands of clients over the years have used Patrick and his team. Find them online at patrickglaros.com, Glaros, patrickglaros.com.
We are closing in, if you can believe it, we're closing in on the end of July, Todd. End of July.
False. Can't be true.
No way. It is true. It's unbelievable. Schools are going back maybe in the next 3-4 weeks, maybe, in one way, shape, or form, maybe. Are we too far into summer for folks to be able to kind of get things done before, quote, summer ends? We touched on it a little bit last week, but we had the same question again this week.
Well, we're 1 week later. And so obviously, if you listened last week, we're 1 week tighter on that timeline. So the answer is you could still buy and or sell before school starts, right? Now, that depends a lot on your financing situation. If you're an all-cash buyer, you can typically buy within 1 week if the seller is willing to move within 1 week. If you're borrowing and you have a great lender like Patrick Glaros, you could probably get that loan done in 2 to 3 weeks if you have all your documentation ready and you find a house and can get one under contract and can get a seller willing to move that quickly. There's a lot of ifs in that conversation, right? So that's the answer. If we can line everything up, if you're totally prepared, if you're ready to move quickly, it's possible still in the middle of July, third-ish week of July, to be able to move by the second or third week of August. That is still possible. It's not highly likely though, right? And the reason for that is we would rather, as a team, Todd Tramonte Homestead team, we would rather coach you, lead you, guide you, protect you, advocate for you to add 1 or 2 weeks to that process and maybe move, technically after school has started and not make a $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 mistake. Now, I understand if you're moving school districts or something like that, this is much more important or crucial. And so it can be done, but you have got to call or go online and connect with us right now. 214-310-0008. Call or text 214-310-0008 or go online to overunderagent.com. That's overunderagent.com and you need to say whatever you're writing or saying to a voicemail or a web sign up, we are in a hurry, want to move before end of summer, and we will expedite that. We will get that to our agent that has the availability to respond to you most quickly and who has expertise in your area, who can serve your needs the best, the fastest, without sacrificing any value for you. But it is important that you make that connection right away if you need to get that done before the end of school, before the start of school. If school is not as important to you, but you would just like to get this done soon, that's a little bit different story. If that's the case, then by all means, we can get this done quickly for you, but we don't like to put a hard deadline on it if we don't have to, because it leads to more challenging decisions for you and might end up costing you money.
We've got about 3 minutes left in this first half of the show, which means you can do what I'm going to tell you to do 3 times. Go to valuethishouse.com and do your home valuation in less than 1 minute. You might be able to do it 4 times. I don't know. You can do it at least 3 times, though. Valuethishouse.com. Get your home valuation in less than 1 minute. If you want something a little bit more custom, just reach out to us, respond to that email, and we will make sure that we get that for you. Todd, give us a 3-minute State of the Union, State of the Market address on where we absolutely stand today and what you project out for the rest of this year.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you where we stand today now, and when we come back, I'll need a little bit more time. I'll tell you where we're headed for the future.
Perfect.
Right now, we are standing hardcore seller's market. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Inventory is as low as it's been in 15 plus years. Buyer demand is as high as it has been in 15 plus years. Interest rates are as low as they have ever been. Home builders are behind, and that's a good thing for our market, by the way. When they've overbuilt and there's excess inventory, we see values drop and we see pace of ownership change and things like that. Right now, builders are playing catch up. They're building like crazy, but there's more demand than they can meet, which means there will continue to be a lot of demand. New jobs, new people are coming to our market. We have land to build on. We still, considering all the insanity around education right now, we still have a lot of really attractive educational options in our market. We still have a relatively low cost of living compared to most of the country, compared to really, in my opinion, compared to any other place in the country. Our cost of living versus the benefits of living here are about as attractive as any place in the world. And we've got more good news coming. I mean, there's reason to believe more jobs are coming, more people are coming, more quality construction is coming, continued scarcity of property. Unbelievably low interest rates ought to extend at least through election time, and I would think beyond that. And so there are lots of reasons to be optimistic about the market we're in right now, and there's reasons to believe that that will continue. Now, I will give you my crystal ball projection when we come back from the break here in a little bit, but for now, let me give you just one example. In Richardson, Texas, just as an example, and it's a pretty good representative market for the whole DFW, especially our attractive, desirable markets. Most of the most attractive price ranges, 2 to 300, 3 to 400, have less than 2 months of housing inventory, which means we will run out of houses by September if no new homes come onto the market. Now, new homes will, but new homes are not coming onto the market in large numbers, which means inventory will stay low or get even lower. So what that means is buyers need to hurry up because prices are going up. Sellers need to be careful because if buyers lose their interest in this market, sellers will lose value that way too. We have future projections of how you can make money, save money, and invest well in the future when we come back from this break. If you need mortgage help, go to patrickglaros.com. If you need roofing help, go to strikerbuilds.com. Anything else, head over to treradio.com. We'll be back with more Texas Real Estate on WBAP. WBAP.
Welcome back to Texas Real Estate with your host, real estate expert, team leader, and best-selling author, Todd Tramonte.
Welcome back, folks. Glad to have you with us here on Texas Real Estate as we make our way through all things residential real estate across the great state of Texas, by the way. We'll take your questions from just about anywhere. We are mostly focused on the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we promised a little bit of a crystal ball look, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But if you haven't checked your insurance lately, your home and auto insurance and beyond, that's something you want to do fairly regularly, at least once a year. We obviously are helping a lot of clients buy and sell homes. And so when they do that, they reevaluate their homeowner's insurance. And of course, good time to check their auto and others as well. And DP Lambert with Goosehead Insurance has been absolutely incredible. I've got my personal insurance with him, as does Ian. Most of the people on our team, hundreds of our clients, I think. But the stories I continue to hear about, I mean, it's kind of cliche, like I switched insurance companies and saved a lot of money. But we continue to hear it over and over and over. I switched to DP and I saved a bunch of money. But the thing that I keep hearing that's not normal is I switched to DP Lambert with Goosehead Insurance. I saved a bunch of money and I increased my coverage. I referred them to my sister and brother-in-law in Houston. They went with DP, saved a bunch of money, boosted their coverage significantly. And like I said, dozens and dozens of our clients every single month are having just incredible experiences, great value, and phenomenal follow-up. DP is able to shop your insurance to multiple different carriers, 10 or more. And so you can stick with DP as your insurance guy for the next 40 years, but you could switch your carrier from, big carriers, small carriers, whatever's right for you every year or so if you need to get the best value and the best coverage. So whenever you have insurance needs and if you haven't shopped it in a while, reach out to DP Lambert at 214-838-5684 or just get over to treradio.com. You can find DP's information there as well as all of our other recommended pros, preferred vendors, and folks that we trust with our homes, our families, and our clients and have for a long, long time. Find it all at treradio.com.
Okay, we teased it in the first half of the show, but we are going to talk a little bit about Barbara Cochran. She made
shark
a post, real estate mogul and Shark Tank extraordinaire, Barbara Cochran. She did a really great post on our team social media page on Facebook that I just wanted to share because it's so encouraging to be a part of this team. And so she just said, "Hey Todd, I love the way that you celebrate your team members and staff. They are a truly amazing group and they are lucky to have you leading the way. Keep growing." So that is a massive, thank you to Barbara for noticing that. We tell you all the time how appreciative we are of you leading the team and being there to give us all of that stuff. So, just wanted to kind of give a big plug to that.
Well, I mean, thank you for saying that. And of course, I appreciate her saying that. She's a busy lady with all kinds of investments and stuff, TV shows. She's constantly being interviewed on all the Good Morning America and Fox Business and all these kind of things, which remind me to talk about that piece too, because that's been really fun to help her with some of that stuff. But she's savvy. She's super smart. She's gritty. She's hilarious. I've actually met her a few times before we began to kind of work with her within the business. And each and every time she's been lighthearted and fun and very down to earth. She comes from a huge family of, I think, 10 or 11 kids. So she learned to kind of scrap and figure it out. And so she's been a huge, an incredibly valuable advocate for us. I mean, she says over and over that, we are her chosen real estate provider in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And she also occasionally reaches out to get some information from me. So a lot of times when she'll go on to Good Morning America or financial shows or whatever, when real estate is the topic, or investing or Shark Tank, and other topics, they'll let her know ahead of time, hey, we'd like to ask you some questions about the economy. Hey, we'd like to ask you some questions about the real estate market. And she'll reach out to me and a handful of other agents around the country and say, hey, what's happening in Dallas? What's happening in LA? What's happening in New York? What's happening in Chicago? So she can get a feel for, is her gut correct, right? Is the data accurate? And she's very specific. So she'll reach out and say, hey, Todd, can you tell me what are prices doing? What's inventory looking like? What are the surprises you're seeing in your marketplace? And then it's really fun to watch her go on, the largest media platforms on earth and use that information. I mean, it's kind of exciting and humbling all at the same time.
Really cool.
But the fun thing is she's really grateful. She'll respond and say, hey, thank you so much. I was really confident on the show because you provided great info or whatever. So it's just been fun to work together. Of course, I'm not going to be silly about it. It's awesome to have Barbara Corcoran out there telling people to use us to sell homes. She made her money selling her real estate brokerage in New York, the largest residential brokerage in New York, because she gets the business. She knows what we do. And so for her to endorse us is a big deal. For her to say, use Todd Tramonte and his team in Dallas-Fort Worth means something because she's in the business. She gets it. It's more fun, of course, because people know who the heck she is. So anyway, it's been really, really fun to work with her. It's fun because she has a sense of humor. It's fun because she gets it. It's fun because not only does she work, do some work for us, but she asks us to do a little bit for her. And so there's some back and forth, and at least we feel like we can return the favor. So it's been really, really exciting. I think we've got some audio. Producer Mason, what do you think? You want to see if we can play some of that?
Yeah, I got it queued up right here.
All right, go ahead.
As a real estate investor, I look for sharp agents who really know their market. Agents who do so much business, they can find me the right investment property and sell it for the most money without drama. When I need real estate advice in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I call Todd Tramonte. His innovative marketing attracts hundreds of buyers every month. Todd guarantees to sell your home over the average price, under the average time, or Todd will buy it for cash. Call the agent I trust, Todd Tramonte, and avoid the drama.
I love how she hates drama. She hates wasted time and people that are just full of bull. So she said like 3 times in there, avoid the drama. So it always cracks me up, but that's how she rolls. It's really, really funny.
Is that true that you'll buy houses for cash?
No, blatant lie, and we want everyone to know it. No, yeah, it is true. And we don't talk about that nearly as much as we talk about our over-under guarantee, because more often than not, the best thing for the client is to go with our full-on, maximum marketing program. But yeah, we will absolutely pay cash for a home. And if we won't, we have a group of reliable, legitimate investors that would. And sometimes a small fraction of the time, but we're in a big market. So a lot of people really would be better off if somebody would just come in and say, here's what I will pay you, and you can be rid of this house. You can, sometimes the house has become a burden, or it's holding you back from a better opportunity, or it's keeping you in a life stage or a situation that's not ideal or healthy or whatever. And so if you're listening, if you ever, or someone wants a cash offer for someone to buy that house within a number of days, a week or so, and that would be best for you. Or even if you just want to see what that would look like, you can reach out to us anytime. overunderagent.com, overunderagent.com. We typically get that offer to you within 24 business hours. If it's a Sunday morning, it might be Monday afternoon, but we're going to get that to you within a day or so. And you'll know, okay, I've got my number. I'm happy with that number. I'll take it. Let's do it. We'll get it done within a week or so. Or you might say, okay, now I know kind of what my backup number is, but I'd rather put it on the market, full marketing, and see if we can get a individual or a family to pay more, or, I'll give a little time to get a little bit more money. But at any point, if you're working with us, at any point throughout the process, if you said, you know what, life has changed, I just want to take that cash number, you can at any point throughout the process. And so we absolutely will give you a cash offer if that's what you would like. So that's our marketing message. Primarily, your home sold over the average price and under the average time, guaranteed. Pause. But if you would prefer an all cash offer for your home within a day or so, we would be happy to do that for you as well. And so we're happy to go either way. There's no pressure either way. Whatever is best for you is what's best for us. So absolutely, if that's something you're interested in, or if you know somebody that would like an all cash offer, but they don't trust some website, it's not even local, that there's no face or no name, and you don't get to meet anybody, or if you're going to sell to someone for all cash, you'd rather sell to someone local who's in the area, reach out to us. overunderagent.com, overunderagent.com. We will give you options. Basically, any legitimate option for selling your house, we will offer you. If you'd like to sell it for the most money and you want to go full marketing, that's our specialty. If you want to sell it quick for cash, we're thrilled to do that. If you want to test the market, we might do that. Just depends on strategy and area and pricing and how we can help you with that. If you want a low, just kind of quick and dirty and, doing a great job and high professionalism is not what you want, then we're probably not a great fit for you. But call us anyway. We'll talk you through it. And if we're not a good fit, we'll introduce you to somebody who is. We'll be happy to refer you over to somebody that could better take care of you. You can call or text us for any of that at 214-310-0008, or you can find us online at overunderagent.com.
I'm going to tell you about a really, really great client success story in just a little bit. Before that, I want to tell you to go to valuethishouse.com. Get your home valuation in less than 1 minute. Valuethishouse.com is where you go to do that. Question for you now. This is not a question that I feel like we've discussed a whole lot. What the heck do you do if you find out you've got rodents in your house?
What? Burn it down and run.
Got it.
Just kidding. That's what my wife wanted to do when we had rodents a few years ago. The answer is tricky. There are some dedicated rodent removal companies out there. Now, my personal opinion is that oftentimes they are built on some heavy salesmanship and manipulation. Now, I'm not naming any of them because there are certainly some good ones out there. In my personal experience, I'm not a rodent specialist, but we've sold thousands of homes. In my personal experience, what they will do for you most effectively is seal your house up so that no new rodents can come in. With that becomes this awkward phase where there are rodents inside that are sealed in, and they are trapping or poisoning those rodents. Different companies are more organic and more non-lethal and all that stuff. Just depends on what you want. But they are then trapping or killing the rodents that are in the home, and then they're sort of monitoring it so you don't have a dead animal rotting and stinking in your house for very long. So they're coming back every day or two to monitor traps and things like that to get them out. So it is a process. It's not a one and done thing. Usually they come out to assess it, they come out and seal it, they come out and monitor it, and then within a week or two, you should be rodent free for the foreseeable future because no new rodents can get in. I've seen people charge as much as $10,000 to do that. Now, depending on the size of your home and the severity of the problem, that may or may not sound affordable to you, but it's probably a $1,000 plus type of scenario if you hire someone to do it. Otherwise, the job you want to do is to focus on any entry and exit points within the home. A lot of times there's rotten wood or eaten wood in the eaves, areas where your shingles are meeting your wood trim and things like that. Squirrels and mice and rats and possums and raccoons and things are getting in there. The ground level, especially if you have a pier and beam home, those weeping spots and vent holes and mesh areas usually are being penetrated or ripped or torn or bent and things like that. So sealing the perimeter is the most important thing, and then trapping or poisoning or whatever and getting those things out of there. A lot of times, unfortunately, with that comes sort of an odor control and a moisture control issue. So that might be more detail than you wanted. As you can tell, I've experienced this myself, but so have some other team members and a lot of our clients. So it's good to give the thorough answer, because if you just blindly call someone and pay them what they ask, you might be spending $5,000 more than you need to. If you want to do it yourself, it's kind of hard work. You need to hunt down those entry exit points, seal them up, trap, monitor, and you might need to put in some moisture control stuff. As far as odor control, some of the best stuff we found is those little mesh bags of little odor absorbing rocks. And Home Depot, Lowe's, hardware stores, Amazon have those. Those actually go a long way to helping with the problem. So that's all I've got on that. I don't have one individual company that I really love on this. Feel free to call or text our office. We'll give you some names that we've used, but I don't have someone that I think is so amazing that I would champion them on the air. But you can reach out to us. Call or text 214-310-0008. Just save that number in your phone. Call us for anything you need related to your house. 214-310-0008, or you can always go to overunderagent.com.
Okay, I'm not letting you off the hook because you teased the audience in the first half of the show about the crystal ball projection for the latter half of this year. But before we get to that,
okay,
I want to just quickly throw it over to Mason and get a 30-second update on the 2-year flip process, and have you actually been able to spend the night in your home? We were so close last time we talked about it.
What?
I made it in my home, yes, and we're just about done with the first round. We do want to get to the bathrooms. We haven't touched the bathrooms at all, so that's probably coming in November before my baby is coming.
El Bambino.
In December. Really excited about that, but we're just excited to finally be winding down a lot of the renovations.
By the way, if you're a regular listener and you didn't know that Mason was creating life, what is going on? Yeah. We love Lil John here. He's a really good backup producer for the show. Mason and his delightful wife, Jenny, are bringing life into the world. The miracle of life is present with us. We're super excited for them. And they've done a really good job with a 2-year flip. I think it's worthy of pointing out these things never go perfectly, right? With the amazing upside that you can have with tax-free profit comes some headaches. I mean, that's the trade-off, right? That short-term pain produces some amazing long-term gain, but hasn't been that bad. I mean, they've spent some nights in some friends' houses, and they spent some nights on some couches and things like that, but
totally worth it.
It could go a lot worse, but the beauty of that has been it's allowed them not to rush the process too much, and they've done some really good work. I like that you said phase 1 and phase 2 because that's pretty normal also. Phase 1 is all the stuff that you really don't want to live through in your house, right? They've ripped out walls and redone cabinets and countertops and brand new flooring. There's dust everywhere and all that. Now, you can close the door to a bathroom and redo tile or a sink while you live there, and then use that one while you redo another one. But you really don't want to be doing the major floor plan shifting stuff while you're living there, especially with a baby. So this is pretty typical of a 2-year flip. If you have no idea what we're talking about when we say 2-year flip, I wrote a book, I don't know, at this point, 8 or 9 years ago, maybe longer, called Live Free, The Art of the 2-Year Flip. It's on Amazon for like
99 cents.
99 cents.
Free if you have the subscription.
That's right. The point is, it's more of a booklet. You could read the whole thing in 45 minutes, and it's just a strategy of buying a home, living there for at least 2 years, and then selling it as an individual for up to $250,000 of tax-free profit. As a married couple, up to $500,000 of tax-free profit. No rules. You can do whatever you want with those, with your gains, with the net, with your profit. But it literally is tax-free. I don't know of very many other investments where you can generate, that kind of a profit and not have to pay any taxes on it. So, but you also get to live in a renovated house. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, we're going to get into, we need to make sure we get this client success story in as well, but give us your projection for the end of this year.
Beautiful similarity. That's what I recommend. That's what I see in the future. A lot more of the same. I think home values are going to continue to rise. Interest rates are going to remain unbelievably low. I do see back to school this year is going to be as traumatic as it always is. That's the same time of year that it's so hot and miserable to get outside and do much of anything, that we typically see about a 10 or 12 day dip in real estate activity. The number of buyers in the market and the shortness of inventory is probably going to push us towards less of a dip, but the uncertainty around back to school this year, I think, is going to overshadow that. So I would expect the second and third weeks of August to be pretty volatile in the real estate market this year in North Texas. So just know that. It doesn't mean you shouldn't buy. As a matter of fact, it might be a better time to buy. It doesn't mean you shouldn't sell. But we are coaching our sellers to adjust their strategy, to adjust our strategy for those 2 weeks. We don't have time to cover what the adjustment is. If you're curious about what adjustment you should make, or if you're thinking about putting your home on the market, what you might want to do differently in August than you've done any other time this year, go to overunderagent.com. We'd be happy to walk you through that, or you can call us or text us, 214-310-0008. Overunderagent.com gives you a great way to kind of tell us what you need, what your goals are, and have the right person get back to you right away, very quickly, and help you break a record like our sellers have been doing left and right all this year, especially right now.
We had an amazing property. It was in Hasler. This is just a great story. The average for that for the area that this home was in was $220,000. The strategy that we chose was to go and list it for $230,000,
$10,000 over the average,
and in one day we sold it for $240,000,
$20,000 over the average.
Here's where it gets even better. We negotiated to have the buyer guarantee that price, even if it did not appraise for that price.
Right.
We also did a pre-inspection, which is one of many things that we do that's really, really unique in our system. That gave such comfort to the buyers that they did not actually do their own inspection, and they didn't ask for any repairs. They took the inspection that we had already got for them.
So $20,000 above market value on a $220,000 market value home is what, 9%-ish? We could do the math, but it's a lot. And if you're thinking about selling your home and you would like 9% more than your neighbors got for selling their similar home, and you'd like to save additional money by having the buyer simply accept your inspection and not get their own and not ask you to do any repairs, you might want to give us a call. You might want to check into how our team, John, Jeremy, Ian, Robert, Leah, David, Brandon, Ryan, Mari, and all of our incredible agents and support staff, which we didn't, Elizabeth and Mason and beyond. How the heck does that stuff get done? Well, it gets done with a proprietary marketing system and really incredible, well-trained, full-time, dedicated, world-class professionals who are passionate about delivering world-class value. You've got to reach out. If you're even remotely thinking about selling your home anytime in the next year, you got to give us a call, 214-310-0008, or go online to overunderagent.com. By the way, if you're curious what your house is worth, you go to valuethishouse.com. And then if you're curious what we could sell your house for, add about 7.8% to that number. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that number. I'm just telling you right now, we're averaging about 7.8% over the average price. We're averaging about 70% faster than the average time, meaning three times faster than market average. Most of our areas around DFW right now, the average time has come down to low 40s days on market, right?
To repeat that Hasler story, it was 9% over the average in one day.
In one day. And the average days on market in that area, I think, was over 40. I'm not entirely sure on that exact one, but I know it was over a month. So point being, much faster for a lot more money. Now, you may not want to sell that fast. That's fine. We can control that for the most part. I don't know anybody that doesn't want as much money as they can get outside of some really rare situations. But overunderagent.com, because we guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. Our agents celebrate breaking records for our clients. If you're a buyer and you want an agent whose primary goal is to high five people because they got you a deal so good that it made you cry, you're going to want to talk to our agents. If you want agents when they represent sellers whose big trophies in the business are when they break all-time sales records for neighborhoods on behalf of their clients, then you're going to want to go to overunderagent.com or call or text us at 214-310-0008. I'm Todd Tramonte. All day, every day, we run the Todd Tramonte home selling team. We would be thrilled to earn your business. And we would love to have your story be one of those success stories and one of the trophies in our office. Head over to overunderagent.com or call us at 214-310-0008. We'll talk to you same time, same place next week, 3 o'clock right here on WBAP.